Ezekiel 33:7. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakha Kurash. The honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Salutations to all that can push his word with true sincerity and with charity. Yahweh is the true name of the Heavenly Father, whom the word and he calls God, and Jehovah Bahasham is in the name. Yahweh Shai is his son's name, of the word and he calls Jesus, and Rakha Kurash is the Holy Spirit. As always, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans are the Israelites according to the Holy Scriptures, as well as the speckled birds, the scattered like foreigners, scattered amongst other nations, whose outer appearance may seem to be of those nations to whom they've been scattered to, but whose lineage through their father's line go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Your Israelites, no matter what outer appearance may seem to be. And as always, I'm Brother Yadiah from the Great Millstone Branch here in Chicago, and I beg you another lesson is going to be entitled Prophecy Watch M to the O to the T to the B, Gill Hates, and Mossip. You see, and as of lately, you got this tweet from Bill Gates. You got this tweet from this guy, and this is from his page. It says 850 million people lack ID that proves their identity. As a result, they're shut out of a lot of services that could change their lives. That's why I'm so excited about mossip, an open source technology that could dismantle barriers worldwide. It says digital from the Gates Foundation, digital IDs are an effective tool against poverty. A global solution is making them available. You see? And hey, we all know what this is. It says we are not ignorant of Satan's devices. We understand what's happening. You see? Here it is. We have a problem. Well, it's problem and solution. Ultimately, all roads lead down to Revelation, the 13th chapter. You getting a digital implanted micro C-hip inside your skin in order for you to buy and sell. You see, and they're using this so-called identity crisis as a guise to deceive you into trusting them, having some type of peace and safety, them giving you a false solution to a made-up problem. You see, but we're gonna go ahead and get into it. This is from gatesfoundation.org. It says, if a person cannot prove who they are, can they take advantage of all of their opportunities society has to offer? It says, for the 850 million people around the world who lack any acceptable form of legal ID, the answer is no. Proof identity enables people to fully participate in the economy. It eases access to employment and education, as well as services such as banking, government programs, and healthcare. And they're telling you right then and there what they're trying to get down to. You see, it says people living. It says people living in low and middle income countries are more likely to go without ID. More than half of these people, more than half of those without proof of identity are children whose births were not registered. 1 in 2 women in low income countries do not have IDs, and they're speaking softly, but ultimately they're gonna let their horn show, man. They don't care about little children and these people that can't prove who they are. It's BS. It says, and even among those whose identity can be verified, many lack documentation that is suited to the digital age. You see, and now you got to ask yourself, why is everything going digital? Why are they taking price tags away and replacing them with barcodes? Why is banking going digital? Why is FedNow going digital? Why is digital money such a thing? Why is everything becoming digital? Digital cities here, X, Y, and Z. Why? It's for the implementation of Revelation, the 13th chapter. It says Revelation 13:16, and Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, and his beast system that rules over this world, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma. We go into that M-A-R-K, charagma, which is an incision, imprinted mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the charagma, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. You see, it says, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. You see, and as we always go into that charagma is an imprinted mark, a thing graven, a thing carving, something that's physically going to make a cutting, a etching in your skin. You know, the next word that you go to from there is Grapho, and then it's like it. Grapho is the last one. It's Corox, which is a pail or steak. That's what's gonna break the skin to go inside the skin, or a needle. When you look up a pail or a steak, that's the delivery system of that charagma. And then when you go down to the root of that is Corox. It's like it's grapho, which means with information or writing or inscriptions. You see, the scriptures is plainly telling you that something is going to be put in your skin. You know, it's going to be it's going to break into the skin and be put there, and it's going to hold information as far as you buying and selling. You see, and that's what this digital ID, digital age is all going into. You see, it says, going back to the article, it says this means many of the resources that can help them improve their quality of life are out of reach. Fortunately, a formidable solution has emerged, an open source customizable digital ID system called Modular Open Source Identity Platform, mossip, that is available to all countries for free. You see, and the difference between this system, because they have like identity ways to verify identity, is like different. Essentially, this mossip system is something that's going to be open to countries, to all countries. They have smaller ones that are like vendor owned or owned by like a corporation, and basically this one is going to be universal. You see, 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as shall fall upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And they're trying to tell you, oh, we're going to get everything right and it's going to be peace and safety, but really they're going to deceive you. You see, and for those that take that charagma, you're going to be destroyed. So let's go into this about mossip. It says mossip is a robust, scalable, and inclusive foundation identity platform. You see, in all this that's coming out with the front guy, Gil Bates, you know, discern, you know, read between the lines. He's the front guy that introduced this, along with him and these other lower level spokesperson of the ultimately the elite banking families that is ruling this earth, the wicked. They're the spokesperson, and they're getting this technology through gradualism. They're promoting it to you. You see, but it says the modular open source identity platform helps governments and other users, so like other user organizations, implement a digital foundational identity system in a cost efficient way. And this technology is already in use, right? And we're gonna get into it later in the program, but essentially they already use this technology with the retina eye scans, with the iPhone. You know, you use your face to unlock your phone. You got the physical fingerprint, ear print, all these different types of, you know, prints, you know, that they use these to prove identity. But essentially what they're saying is that those are not efficient enough. So we got to go to something else. And what's that something else? That biotech, that tech that goes in your skin. But it says nations can use mossip freely to build their own identity systems. You see, and that's the difference between all these other identity systems. This is going to be something that can work with actual nations or countries without them being taxed, essentially, or having to go under a vendor. It says being modular in its architect, mossip provides flexibility to countries in how they implement and configure their systems and help avoid vendor lock-in. It says anchored at the International Institute of Information Technology, Bangalore, mossip harnesses the power of open source and embraces the best practices of scalability, security, and privacy. So basically, it's a universal use rather than vendors. But it says mossip offers a digital ID solution that any country can adapt and use. It says the success of Aadhaar in India triggered a surge of interest in digital ID technologies around the world. By 2018, more than 60 countries were trying to develop such a system, including every country in sub-Saharan Africa. Both countries could not simply copy and use Aadhaar or other national digital ID systems like those in Estonia and Singapore, because those systems were owned by the governments that developed them. They instead turned to commercial vendors, making costly investments that yielded frustrating results because the system suffered from vendor lock-in. So these other similar programs that was specifically for this country or that country, that was a difference. You know, they was experiencing problems, you know, with vendor lock-ins or so forth. But this new mossip is going to be a universal. It's going to be open to all governments. It says they instead turned to commercial vendors, making costly investments that yielded frustrating results because the systems suffered from vendor lock-in. Commercial vendor software was proprietary, which meant governments could not customize it without tying themselves financially and functionally to a given vendor. Countries ran the risk of having to start from scratch when their needs evolved beyond a vendor's capabilities, such as when they needed to reach specific populations or connect to a different government system to disburse welfare payments. So that just gives you the scoop on how this mossip is universal. It says Technoforte's experience on national ID. We at Technoforte specialize in developing and implementing digital ID solutions on ID systems like Adahar, mossip, etc. The services provided by us are authentication and EKYC services. Second bulletin, authentication is used to authenticate an individual's identity using various types like one-time password, demographic, and biometric, or a combination of these factors called as multi-factor authentication. It says once the information is captured from the user, it is validated against a repository using a one-to-one match to confirm the individual's identity. It says a virtual ID can be generated to keep the users anonymous and used for authentication. Now, I'm going to go into that word bio. This is the etymology of it. It says life and it says word form and element, especially in scientific compounds, meaning life and or biology or biological or pertaining to living organisms or their constitute. And that's where this biotech is going, you see. They're trying to put their small tech inside of you. You see? It says Technoforte, going back to the bulletins. Let me see why I stopped that. This is online authentication, which can be done using a cryptograph service where a cryptogram will be printed on an identity card. But it says chip-based authentication, wherein the biometric details are embedded in the chip and the identity card, right? It says demographic data normalization is also done before performing authentic EKYC. Hot listing feature is also available where an ID can be blocked on suspected fraud in order to protect against the misuse of identity. So it's going into the ins and outs of how this mossip system will work, right? But they're telling you, like, look, we have the power to block these IDs, right? It says authentication lock or unlock for a specific period and duplicate card download is also available. So I went into biometric, the purpose of it. It says, what is the purpose of biometrics? Biometric identification consists of determining the identity of a person. The aim is to capture an item of biometric data from this person. It could be a photo of their face, a record of their voice, or an image of their fingerprint. You see, so this is going into that biometric data. It's actually dealing with that person, that living organism, right? This is going back to the article. It says Technoforte is a mossip development partner right from the production inception days of 2018. It says Technoforte is a mossip development partner right from the product inception days in 2018. It says blah blah blah. It says mossip engagements with mossip partners. It's like a multiple engagement with mossip partners in the following areas. It says secure biometric interface, compliance for biometric devices, offline biometric validations, examples using cryptograph or chip-based card, integrations with other external systems like ABS, CRVS, functional ID systems, etc. So it's telling you that this mossip program is going to be dealing with biometrics, and that's referring to the living organisms, right? This is this guy, Ramesh Narayan, the officer of mossip. It says there's an identity crisis in the world, but that'll get solved. But beyond the identity crisis, it's about how people can be a part of the digital economy that is getting built and how they can actually leverage that. And he just said some digital economy, because cash will be done away with. You know, it's going to go to, oh, tap your phone here, scan your card here, to, okay, we have these Fed Now bucks. This is the currency. Oh, we can't prove anybody's identity. Here, take this in your right hand or in your left hand or in your forehead. This ID is going to hold everything that you need. You see? It says our journey, our hope is to make it easy for people to be a part of the digital economy. And you got to remember, man, and Sirach can tell you that the rich hate the poor. You see, so they're not doing things to help and bless the poor. No, they're really ensnaring you. It says we don't want the divide to exist. It's like it says there are talks of digital divide. So they want to include you in this digital world that they're moving with, these digital 15-minute cities, with these digital money, with this fourth industrial revolution, this network of things, the internet of things. They want to put you in it. It says we don't want the divide to exist. Our tools will help bridge that divide and make it a seamless experience for any and every person in the world. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And these people are trying to act as if they're trying to do humanity a favor, but they're really trying to enslave. You see? It says a small but mighty team in India developed this technology for creating national digital ID systems, while funding from our foundation. So it's being funded from the Hates Foundation. Since 2018, 11 countries, 9 of them in Africa and 2 in Asia, have signed memoranda of understanding with mossip to pilot the system. So they already started. They've been working on this since 2018, and you know what happened some years down the line, 2020. It says more than 90 million people have been registered for mossip-based IDs in the Philippines, Ethiopia, and Morocco as part of the national developments. Mossip is a powerful example of how low and middle income countries can harness open source technology to improve lives and accelerate development. You see? It says digital ID is a critical piece of digital public infrastructure. Now, let's continue reading on, because it's going to go into this infrastructure. It says digital ID systems are one of the 3 pillars of what's known as digital public infrastructure, DPI. It says the other are digital payment systems and exchange systems. So they just mentioned this digital public infrastructure. Let's look at the word infrastructure. It says, what is infrastructure in simple words? The system of public works of a country, state, or region. It says also the resources such as personnel, buildings, or equipment required for an activity. It says the underlying foundation or basic framework as of a system or organization. So they're literally telling you that this digital public infrastructure is going to be the fundaments, the system on how this eventually this charagma, this Revelation 13 chapter is going to be implemented. This is the infrastructure. This is the actual digitalization of everything coming together. You see, this is the underlying foundation coming to pass right before your eyes, man. You see, it says by connecting people and making it easier to move money and share information, DPI is in many ways the modern day equivalent of the roads and bridges that helped reshape economies in the 19th century. You see, and everything is going into that new age, the digital age. You see, it says researchers say that DPI can help low and middle income countries leapfrog traditional stages of development, lift millions out of poverty, and spur economic growth. You see, this digital system is the infrastructure for the charagma. It says a digital ID system is critical because people need a verified identity in order to tap into DPI's other benefits, from digital bank accounts and instant payments to mobile phone accounts and personal data management. So this digital ID system, this infrastructure is critical because people need a verified identity, which, what's more secure than it being inside you, right? In order to tap into DPIs, that digital digital public infrastructure. Other benefits from digital banking, bank accounts, and instant payments to a mobile phone account and personal data management. You see, so we're gonna go in a little bit of information, but in this DPI it says when the 19 epidemic struck, governments around the world rushed to send emergency payments to their people as lockdowns ground their economies to a halt. And you see more and more propaganda being pushed about that 19 once again, going into flu season. School is already shutting down. You see? Hey, we are not, Satan's devices. Shit is finna get real. It says some countries dispense funds to millions of people within weeks. Others took months, sent money to the wrong people, excluded qualified recipients. How quickly people receive money depended largely on whether they lived in a country with a strong digital public infrastructure or DPI. So they're once again problem solution. Oh, we couldn't send the money because these people didn't have the infrastructure, the digital infrastructure to receive this. Well, maybe if they put this inside them, if it is another something happen, we can get them the funds immediately. You see, DPI can be a game changer for any country, but especially low and middle income countries, where it can help accelerate economic growth by estimated 20 to 33%. Our foundation funds projects to advance DPI because it creates opportunities that can help people thrive across sectors such as healthcare, agriculture, and financial inclusion, while enabling women's economic power. You see, it says the enemy speaketh smoothly with his lips, but in his heart he seeketh how to throw thee into a pit. Sirach 13:8. What agreement is between a hyena and a dog, and what peace between the rich and the poor? You see, and this is what they've been conspiring together at all these WFE, put it together, means. It says, and what peace between the rich and the poor, as the wild ass is in the lion, as the wild ass is the lion's prey in the wilderness, so the rich eat up the poor. You see, they're not for your part. It says, as the proud hate humility, so doth the rich abhor the poor. You see, so anything that they're telling you is best for you, we conclude that they're really trying to throw you into a ditch. It says, what is digital public infrastructure? It says DPI is a digital network that enables countries to safely and efficiently deliver economic opportunity and social services to all residents. This is the digital infrastructure that's going to be needed in order to have that charagma implemented in the earth. It says DPI can be compared to roads, which form a physical network that connects people and provides access to a huge range of goods and services. The DPI allows people to open bank accounts, and once again, they keep emphasizing on money. Why? Because everyone ultimately is subjected to the will of the Heavenly Father. You see, the Lord, the hour of temptation is approaching. You see, Revelation, the 13th chapter, the mandatory implementation of that charagma is soon to come. It says it allows governments to support citizens more quickly and efficiently, as if the government give a fuck, especially during emergencies, and enables entrepreneurs to reach customers far and wide. It said, what makes for a strong DPI? A strong DPI has three foundational systems: identity, payments. It's like it says identity, payments, and data exchange that together can make life easier in important ways. And they're telling you that it's going to be, with everything going digital and this digital ID, everything is going to be easier. Life is going to be so much easier. You don't need any keys anymore. You can just touch this, or remember Chip Girl, you don't need a lock right here. All you got to do is wave your hand right here. You don't need a bank card. You don't need to do any of this. Just put this in you. Right? It says, but really they're deceiving you. Because according to the Holy Scriptures, anybody that take that charagma, which all this is leading up to, is going to be damned. It says identity. Being able to prove who you are using a legal form of identity enables a person to fully participate in society and the economy. And they already have these biotech or biometric forms of authenticating a person. You have the fingerprint, you have the eyeball retina scan, you have they do ear scans, hair samples, or whatever it is, but ultimately the most secure of what's in their eyes, or what they're trying to make it seem as secure is that charagma. You see that piece, that C-hip that's going to be put in your skin. It says, yes, some 850 million people around the world do not have official proof of their identity. A digital identity allows people to access a wide range of goods and services. So, hey, we need to make you a digital profile, and you have to digitally prove yourself. And you're going to be incorporated in this DPI, this digital infrastructure, this network, this Internet of Things. You see? And the ultimate authentication is if you put it inside you. It says a digital identity allows people to access a wide range of goods and services, including bank accounts and lines of credit, supplies and markets for their businesses and government benefits. It says payments. A rise in digital payment platforms has allowed millions of people, especially women, to conduct secure financial transactions without cash for the first time. However, 1.4 billion people still do not have a financial account. Secure and interoperable digital payment systems can help close this gap. Remember, digital, the money going digital. It says with digital payments, people's businesses and governments can instantaneously send and receive money, even if they use different banks or mobile service providers. You see, and you have that's where these the likings of these countries. You have USA with, or Babylon the Great America with FedNow. The difference between that and Cash App, these FedNow, that's gonna be for the whole United States, whereas Cash App, that's a company-owned entity. You see, and all these other dog coins and all this, those are just private owned. This is gonna be something that nations are gonna be implementing. You see. It says data exchange. A data exchange system allows data to be shared between otherwise unconnected institutions in ways that benefit people, while also giving individuals more control over their data and helping them make informed decisions about its use. For example, a loan applicant can approve their credit worthiness, or a patient can opt to have their medical history accessible to multiple health providers in order to receive more integrated and appropriate care. It says, how does the DPI affect the country's economy? When the three core systems, identity, payments, and data exchange, exist simultaneously and can talk to one another, people, businesses, and governments can reap the full benefits of DPI. Over time and safe and inclusive, DPI creates vibrant and competitive economies. And these are all dainties that they're telling you, oh, we're going to be able to do this, we're going to be able to do that. But really, they're deceiving you. It says individual benefits because they can safely and cheaply receive wages, pay bills, access services, and conduct transactions, whether they're positioned in society and wherever they live. Take India, which has one of the most advanced DPIs in the world, and little over 10 years after launching its digital identity system, the number of adults with bank the number of adults with bank accounts more than doubled to 78%, and women's accounts ownership grew even faster from 26 to 78%. And when India's identity and payment systems were combined, it helped bring more women into the labor force because they had bank accounts and could receive their wages digitally directly into their accounts. You see, this Sirach 12 and 15, it says, for a while he would abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he would not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips. Matter of fact, I can't even do that. I ain't do that no justice. Salakia. This Sirach 12 and 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. And who's our enemies? Go read Psalms 83rd chapter. It tells you chiefly Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, as well as all these other nations. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. Right, he gonna come smoothly. He's gonna come, oh, I want to help you, and you guys, you're the poor, and I just want to help you. Yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. And this is the same devil that hated you back then and still hates you to this day. What did Esau say? Hey, after the days of the mourning of my father is done, I will slay my brother Jacob. And that's still his mindset. He has that perpetual hatred toward you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that's who he's chiefly after. It says, verse 12, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. You see, in the scriptures is giving, is telling you, beware of him. He's leading you to a trap. 13, it says, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come not wild beast? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? And hey, you jakes that get caught up in that, hey, the prophet's been out here warning you, hey, for over the last 40 years. And within the last, 2007, 13, 16 years, on all the major air raids on the internet. It says, so one that goeth to a sinner is defiled with his sins, who will pity? And you jakes that get caught up, hey, the Lord ultimately is going to laugh at you, man, because you regarded not wisdom. Wisdom was out there on the streets, sighing and crying, telling you all these things is going to be, and how to escape these things and be safe, which is coming back to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and you neglected it, right? It says, for a while he would abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he would not tarry. It says, an enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips. Right, we want to help you, and with the women going to get taken care of. But in his heart, he imagines how to throw thee into a pit. Because as we'll read it too, hey, anybody that take this charagma, you're going to be destroyed. It says he will weep with his eyes, but if you find opportunity, he would not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. And that's what he's doing. He's coming smoothly. The devil deceives, right? He's coming smoothly. He's all, yeah, we got this system. It's going to include everybody. Everyone's going to have their own digital ID. We're going to have this infrastructure set up so we know exactly who you are. We can send you money quickly just in case any disaster strikes, anything happens. You're going to be good. Just put this in you. It says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. Because at the last, he's going to declare his wickedness. You see, this is inclusive, equitable financial services for all. Yeah, this is, so yeah, another thing is, mossip, it also goes with this moja loop. And then you see exactly who the target is. Who he's going for, you see? It says inclusive. So this is like another system that works with this mossip. It's called Mahaloop. It says inclusive, equitable financial services for all. It says Mahaloop open source software lowers the cost to build, maintain, and modify an inclusive instant payment system that brings affordable, connected digital financial services to anyone with access to a mobile phone. Once again, they're harping on that financial sector. It says payment solution companies. Mahaloops helps you meet the needs of central banks, hub operators, and financial institutions. And this is heavy because the central bank of America, or all these countries, that's let me see, that's like their main bank is working is working with this digital institutions. You see. So yeah, everything's going back to money going digital, which is Revelation 13th chapter. You see this charagma. It says hub operators. Mahaloop lowers your cost and time to market for customized instant payment use cases. It says central banks. Mahaloop enables you to safely bring all your citizens into the digital economy without putting larger FSPs at risk. So this all this ties into banks going digital, this digital economy, the digital infrastructure, in order that's all being set up for Revelation 13th chapter, the charagma, the M to the A to the R to the K of THEBEAST. And you jakes are the target. This is Psalms 10:8. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages, and in secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are set privily. It's like his eyes are privily set against the poor. And who's the poor? The lowly, you Israelites. It says, he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in a wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He croucheth and humble himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones, you see. And this man is the cunning hunter, man, and he's coming with that deception. It says even that man whose coming is after the coming of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. 2 Thessalonians. Problem solution. It says, why is a DPI important for countries facing crisis like climate disasters, which they call emics, and other emergencies? It says, during a crisis such as the 19 pain, countries with DPI can speedily, securely help their citizens by delivering emergency payments. And this is just them telling you all that, you see, this is needful because just in case it's another one of these, we can give you what you need instantly. It says, for example, within weeks of the initial lock, India digitally transferred emergency payments to 300 million people, including 200 million low-income women. Even countries with partial DPI systems were able to meet their people's needs much more effectively during the pan. It says Togo uses election registry and digital payment channels to expand social assistance coverage from 12,000 to 1.8 million, reaching 35% of adults with emergency funds. It says in countries without DPI, pandemic relief payments were delayed, were sent to the same people multiple times or didn't reach the right people. See, we have to do something so we can effectively get you what you need when you need it. So here we're going to set up this system, and we're going to give you the link to that system, which is going to be that charagma. It says these challenges raise awareness of the benefits of DPI, problem solution, and prompted some countries to quickly begin adopting DPI systems. This was true in the Philippines, which struggled to disburse financial assistance quickly and accurately, leading the country to adopt the mossip digital identity system. You see, this Hosea 12:10, it says, I have also spoken about the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. And the Lord is speaking through the prophets. He's been telling you via his men that he called pastors according to his heart, which shall feed you with knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and warning you of these things. You see, because this is the time that we're living in. Revelation 13th chapter. Digital this, digital that. It's not by coincidence. It's not by random coincidence, if that's the right frame. This is all being orchestrated. Ezekiel 33:30, it says, also thou son of man, the children of thy people are still talking against thee by the walls and in the doors of the houses, and speak one to another, everyone to his brother, saying, come, I pray you, and hear what is the word of the Lord. It's like, what is the word that coming from Yahweh? And that's our people. You know, they all heard this message. You know, they see the videos on YouTube. And what do? It says, and they come unto thee as thy people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. You see? And Jake hear this word, they hear, oh, this is going to be this, and this going to be that. And they, oh, yeah, that, oh, yeah. But ultimately, they go back and doing whatever they want to do. You see? But ultimately, that's going to be a curse unto them, because they're finna hit that brick wall. You see, all your dreams, all your cares, all of what you put your treasure in. Guess what? That's gonna come to naught. Why? Because thus saith the Lord. This is what's gonna happen. Prophecies, the charagma, World War III. Yahweh returning with his chariots. You see, this Ezekiel 33:31. And they come unto thee as the people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. And lo, thou art unto them as a very lovely song of one that have a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument. For they hear thy words, but they do them not. And Jake hear the warning going out, but they don't take heed. But guess what? Verse 33, and when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. You see? And these people, they're going to get slapped in the face with a damn slap of regret when they realize that the prophets of the Lord been warning you of these things, and that ultimately they're going to have to make that great decision, you see, which ultimately is going to lead either to salvation or condemnation. You see, so hey, this is what we're living in. You know, Lord willing, I remember to put these links up in the comment box. But hey, this has just been a prophecy watch. Gil hates and mossip. Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson called Halayim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakha Korash. The bonus to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Salutations to all that I can push his word with true sincerity with charity. Shalom, Barakatham, wa Baba Kwame Asharala. Shalom.